Hi everyone. Today we'll learn the properties of modulus of a complex number. So let's see some theorems. So the theorems, first we'll understand the theorems of modulus and then we'll see properties based on it. Now for any theorem, we'll assume that all the z1 and z2, all the complex numbers that we are using belong to the complex plane. So the first theorem is that mod of z is equal to mod of conjugate of z. And let's prove that. So let's do that with our LHS and RHS. So let's write LHS here and RHS here. And we can take z as any general a plus ib. So this is a general complex number representation. So mod of z as per the definition would be under root a square plus b square. It is basically the under root of sum of square of real part and imaginary part. Now let's see the RHS. Now if z is this, then z conjugate would be the real part remaining same and the imaginary part, the sign would be changed. So z conjugate would be a minus ib. Now so z conjugate modulus would be the sum of square of their real terms and imaginary terms and whole under root. So it would be under root of a square plus minus b whole square now because it is conjugate. But minus b whole square is nothing but b square. So it would be under root a square plus b square. Now that is same as the modulus of z. So from this we get that LHS is equal to RHS and thus mod of z is equal to mod of conjugate of z. So that is the first theorem. Now let's look at the second theorem which says that mod of z square is equal to z into z conjugate. So you need to understand that mod of z is a real number and we're linking it with a product of two complex numbers, which is amazing. So let's see how that is done. So let's see the proof of it. So we'll again take it here. Now for this question, let's assume z as any general a plus ib like we always do. So z conjugate would be a minus ib because the real part remains same whereas the imaginary part the sign changes. And so now our LHS and RHS would be, LHS would be mod of z square. So that would be a square plus b square and that is about it on the LHS. Whereas on the RHS, so z into z bar is equal to a plus ib into a minus ib. Now let's do the product. So z into z conjugate is equal to a into a is a square minus I into ab plus I into ba. So that's I into ab only minus I square b square. Now you can see IAB minus plus IAB. So this gets cancelled ultimately to give us, and we can use I square is equal to minus 1. So this becomes plus. So we have z into z conjugate is equal to a square plus b square. And this is exactly what was there on the LHS. So we get that LHS is equal to RHS and this is the theorem. So this is also proved. Let's move on to the next theorem which says that mod of z1 into z2 is equal to mod of z1 into mod of z2. And z1 and z2 as mentioned earlier are two different complex numbers lying on the complex plane. So let's see how we can prove this. Again, the most general way is to take z1 as some a plus ib and z2 as c plus id. But in this question, it would make it very lengthy. And so let's use the properties that we already know of. Like we just saw, mod of z whole square. So let's square it and see what we can get. Let's start with LHS and then try to prove the RHS from it. So on LHS, we have mod of z1 into z2. So for sake of convenience, let's write it as mod of z1 into z2 whole square. Because we know the property of this, we can treat this as some mod of z square, where z is some complex number equal to z1 into z2. Then we know what this is. Because in the last property itself, we saw that this is equal to z into z conjugate. So here z would be z1 into z2. So it would be z1 into z2 into the conjugate of this. So this is our z And now the conjugate of this would be this. So this is Z conjugate. And now we just need to break the conjugate down over this multiplication. So it is distributive on multiplication. So we can write it as Z1 into Z2 into Z1 conjugate into Z2 conjugate. And now multiplication is associative. So we can also take Z1 conjugate here and Z2 here. Let's take the like terms together. So we get this is Z1 into Z1 conjugate into Z2 into Z2 conjugate. And this, as we saw in the previous property and we also mentioned here, is nothing but Z1 mod square. And this would be mod of Z2 square. That's about it. So we, from the LHS, we got the RHS, and so this is proved. Mod of Z1 into Z2 is equal to mod of Z1 into mod of Z2. So these are the main three theorems about modulus. Now let's see some properties based on it. So let's take a complex number 3 minus 4i and let's see what all different parts it has. So the mod of Z would be 3 square plus minus 4 whole square. So that would be 9 plus 16. So that's under root 25. So that is 5. And we also know the real part of Z is 3. The imaginary part of Z is minus 4. And the modulus of Z is equal to 5. So from this information, we can see the mod of real part of Z or the absolute value of real part of Z remains 3. And that is less than mod Z, which is 5. We also see that imaginary part of Z, the mod of imaginary part of Z or the absolute value of minus 4 is 4, and that is still less than mod Z is equal to 5. This is the idea of the identity that we're going to prove, where we try to find the relation between the real part of Z and mod Z and imaginary part of Z and mod Z and see if this is in general true for all complex numbers or this is just an outlier. Now let's take any general complex number Z is equal to A plus IB. Then we note that mod Z square is equal to A square plus B square. Here A is the real part of Z and B is the imaginary part of Z. And because we're squaring, we can also write A as mod of A whole square plus mod of B whole square, because A can be positive or negative, but irrespective the square is going to be the same. So we can write mod of A whole square plus mod of B whole square. And now mod of A can also be written as mod of real part of Z whole square plus mod of imaginary part of Z whole square, because B is the imaginary part of Z and A is the real part of Z. Now both of them are positive numbers. Because of that, if I'm just writing mod of real part of Z whole square, this is going to be less than mod of real part of Z whole square plus imaginary part of Z mod whole square, simply because we're adding another positive term to just this term. So this will invariably be less than equal to this, which is nothing but mod Z whole square. Now this equality condition would happen when imaginary part of Z is 0. Alright. So ultimately we get here that mod of real part of Z whole square is less than equal to mod of Z whole square, which ultimately gives us the condition that real part of Z should be less than equal to mod of Z. And similarly, we can also write this for imaginary part of Z, which says that mod of imaginary part of Z whole square should be less than real part of Z whole square plus imaginary part of Z whole square, which is nothing but mod Z whole square. So this implies that imaginary part of Z is also less than equal to mod of Z. So let's write it. So this is the first property that we got. Now let's move on to the second property, which says that mod of Z1 plus Z2 whole square is equal to mod of Z1 square plus mod of Z2 square plus 2 times real part of Z1 into Z2 conjugate. Now this is very similar to the general square formula that we know of A plus B whole square. So let's see how we can prove that. And as we know earlier, z1 and z2 are any two different complex number belonging to the complex plane. So let's see how we can prove this property. So when we are talking about mod of z1 plus z2 whole square, then there is a theorem that instantly strikes our head. And that is, mod of z1 plus z2 whole square can be written as z1 plus z2 into z1 plus z2 conjugate. Right? It comes from the simple theorem that mod of z whole square is equal to z into z conjugate. And now conjugate is distributive on addition. So we can write this as z1 plus z2 into z1 conjugate plus z2 conjugate. Now if you multiply it, we get z1 into z1 conjugate plus z1 into z2 conjugate plus z2 into z1 conjugate plus z2 into z2 conjugate. Now these are terms that we already know of how to simplify, because this becomes mod of z1 whole square because it's z1 into z1 conjugate. This term here becomes mod of z2 whole square because this is z2 into z2 conjugate. And this might look like a tricky term, but if you see properly, this is z1 into z2 conjugate. If I consider this as some z, then isn't this just a conjugate of this z? Because the conjugate of this complex number would be z1 conjugate dot conjugate of z2, which is nothing but z2 itself. So it would be z1 conjugate into z2. So this is nothing but the conjugate of this complex number. And when we are adding a complex number with its conjugate, there is a known identity that we should know of. And that is z plus z conjugate is equal to 2 times real part of z. So we'll write this as 2 times real part of z1 into z2 conjugate. So let's write it in the simplified form. We get this is mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square plus this addition becomes plus 2 times the real part of z1 into z2 conjugate. And if you see, this is exactly what we had to prove. So this is hence proved. Now let's move on to the next property of modulus, which is mod of z1 plus z2 whole square plus mod of z1 minus z2 whole square is equal to 2 times mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square. So let's start proving this. We already showed what this is. We already showed the expansion of this. So it would be mod of z1 plus z2 whole square is equal to mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square plus 2 times real part of z1 into z2 conjugate. And similarly, if we take z2 as minus z2, then we also know the expansion of this. So mod of z1 minus z2 whole square is equal to mod of z1 whole square plus mod of minus z2 whole square plus 2 times real z1 into minus z2 conjugate. And now let's add them up. So we have our expansion and let's add them up. So here z1 square mod and mod of z1 square would add up. We also get that mod of minus z2 is nothing but mod of z2. Both of them are the same thing because mod is the absolute value. So this would also be the addition of mod z2 whole square with mod z2 whole square. So it would be plus 2 into mod of z2 whole square. Now this is an interesting term. When we are taking conjugate of minus z2, now this means that this entire complex number is multiplied by minus 1. Which means whatever the real part of this complex number would be, it will also be multiplied with minus 1. So whatever this value is, it would be minus of this value, 2 times real part of z1 into z2 conjugate, because essentially we are multiplying minus 1 with the complex number. So now when we add this up, this just cancels out to give us 0 here. And so the addition of this expansion is nothing but 2 times mod of z1 square plus 2 times mod of z2 square, and if we take 2 common, we get 2 into mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 whole square. And this is exactly what we had to prove. And this is hence proved. And now let's look at the fourth property that we have to prove, which is mod of z1 plus z2 is less than equal to mod of z1 plus mod of z2. So let's see how we can do that. Again, we'll keep using the theorems that we already know of and we've already proved. So first idea should be to use mod of z1 plus z2 whole square, because that is the formula we are familiar with. So let's take that. Mod of z1 plus z2 whole square is equal to mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square plus 2 times real part of z1 into z2 conjugate. Now we also saw in the first property itself that real part of a complex number is always less than equal to the modulus of the complex number. So we can write this as, if this is the expansion of mod of z1 plus z2 whole square, then mod of z1 plus z2 whole square should be less than equal to mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square plus 2 times mod of z1 into z2 conjugate. Because as we showed here, this real part would be less than the mod of the complex number. And now mod would split, it is distributive on multiplication. Again, another theorem that we saw. So I can write this as, this is less than equal to mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square plus 2 times mod of z1 into mod of z2, because the mod of conjugate is same as the mod of the complex number. Again, another theorem that we saw. We used the 3 theorems that we earlier proved in this question. And now you have to realize that mod of z1 is any general real number. So ultimately what we're getting here is that a square plus b square plus 2 times a into b. So it can be written as mod of z1 plus mod of z2 whole squared. What we can simplify it as mod of z1 plus z2 whole square is less than equal to mod of z1 plus mod of z2 whole square. So this simplifies to that mod of z1 plus z2 should be less than equal to mod of z1 plus mod of z2. So we also proved our last property of the modulus. So that was all about it. Hope you guys understood it. Thank you.